It's about this man that we learn his name is William Tell, and he's gotten out of prison, and in prison he learned how to count cards, and he's chosen the profession of gambling to be his life, and it's very low stakes, and he just does enough to get by. You start to learn about him as the movie progresses, and you kind of have an idea of who he is. He's mysterious. There's something strange about his routines, and slowly you start to realize what he is, what he's done. And he's someone that has chosen to be in a state of limbo. He's chosen this profession of low stakes poker, low stakes blackjack. And he's in this kind of circular pattern as a form of penance because he's done something that you learn is really bad, and it's caused him, others, but mostly him. I guess if you can say that. No, he's what he's done is something really terrible, and it's caused a large amount of trauma, and he's traumatized by what he's done, and so the I guess the legal ramifications of what he's done, it's not enough for him. He doesn't feel like he's been punished enough. So he chooses a life that's pretty desolate and repetitive. Um, and that's where we find him. Ty's character is the one that kind of, breaks open everything for him because of what he represents and who he is. And I think William Tell sees an opportunity to try to help, to try to save somebody from the path that he was on. He's suddenly afforded an opportunity to re-engage with the world through Kirk, a character that Ty Sheridan plays, and through mostly through Melinda, that Tiffany Haddish plays, and her vibrancy and her vitality in her life. And so he reluctantly kind of gets drawn into this strange little family. And I think you start to see him shedding some of these things and thinking that maybe he has a chance here, maybe he can redeem himself in some way, and that can lead to an opening. And so he concocts this plan to help this kid out, and I think he thinks he really has an opportunity to perhaps forgive himself and be forgiven. And he wrote to me and said, Oscar, I've written a script for you, and I'd love to hear what you think, and let's see if we can do this. And so he sent it over, and I read it, and I didn't understand it because it's so mysterious and so it was riveting and strange and just kind of confounding. And I remember reading it the second time, and it started to reveal itself some more, and the third time. And what's incredible about his writing, it reminds me a lot of Harold Pinter or some of these great kind of mysterious writers, that it doesn't just reveal itself. It doesn't explain itself. You really have to engage with the material. You have to recognize that he's written space for thought and for subtext and for subconscious and things that maybe don't seem like they make sense because they don't in a logical way, but you realize the human mind doesn't always work logically, and particularly this character. So I really fell in love with it, and especially talking to him about his concept with this. And he talked about this as another in a series of A Man Alone in His Room movies that he does. I got very excited and dove right in. It was kind of breathtaking to see him move around the set and say what he wanted, and be so confident and sure about exactly where he wanted the camera, exactly what he needed. And he's also very direct and very very clear. Sometimes for very sensitive people it can be a bit disarming, but I think that you realize you get an appreciation for the fact that there's just no bullshit. He doesn't have time for that. He's going to be very clear and direct with what he wants and what he thinks is not working. But when something is working, he says, "That's terrific. That's exactly right." And that first day, it meant a lot to me when he came up and said, "I think that you got this guy. I think you know who he is." Tiffany Haddish, she's what I imagined Jesus was. She's the kind of person where you can imagine people like quitting their jobs and leaving their families, just following her to be around her because of the amount of life that she sheds and gives out to everybody. And I just found her to be so warm and so vital, and I think she's fantastic in the role. He brings such a warmth to this character who could really come across as just like someone that you don't want to be around, but there's something heartbreaking about him. He's such a sweet guy and a really great actor, and just a fantastic energy. So it was really nice to do those scenes with him because they're quite at odds, these two guys, but there is this weird father-son dynamic that happens. I'm so grateful that I had a chance to embody one of his characters, specifically this one. It's such a unique construction that he's made. He really takes it to the line because you think, okay, well, what's so bad? What could this person have done? And when you find out, it's pretty bad. It's pretty awful. And then so he puts that challenge, and then he explores, well, how does this person end up deserving any kind of empathy? I think the thing with Paul's movies is that there's so much depth in them, and yet they're constructed in such a way where they don't tell you what to feel. They don't tell you what you're supposed to think or what you're supposed to feel. And I just hope that people feel that there's some truth in it.